Alright, I'm gonna record a video for myself here just so I can see all the cool things that are going on in the garden. I was worried about things starting off slow, and there's still a couple things that are relatively small, like some of these squash plants over here that never took off. But this one right here, this tomato plant and that tomato plant, I actually grew from seed outdoor from start to finish. So obviously not finished yet, but I put seeds in these pots and watered them, and I know at least this one, well no, this one has some flowers too, but they should produce some tomatoes start to finish from seed. Oh, that got blurry. So right here, these are my strawberry plants. I failed at strawberries last year, so I said this year I'm going to throw money at strawberries until I have a strawberry patch, because we love strawberries. But I bought 75 plants online. I bought another, I think 30 or 40 from Walmart. These are the 3 that are left this year, and they do seem to be doing really well. I'll show you the strawberry patch where I tried to start it. There's actually, I think, 1 plant kind of sort of hanging on. So there's all my potted plants that I just mostly squash. Some peppers in the pots. There's the corn. Doing, I think, well. I had to do a second planting of corn this year because not a lot of it germinated the first time. There is a pumpkin there. And here's my cucumber trellis. Now, I planted cucumbers and thought they were growing, and turned out they were pumpkins. And not because I don't know what seeds look like, but because the compost I used from last year had a bunch of old pumpkins from the pumpkin patch here last year. This whole area right here where all this stuff was a pumpkin patch last year. And so anyways, as the seeds started germinating and growing, I thought it was cucumbers, but it ended up being more pumpkins. So they are the jack-o'-lantern style pumpkins. I am just embracing it and letting it happen. In between all of these barrels, I just threw a whole bunch of wildflower seeds, and they seem to be coming along really well. They are beautiful. In the barrels themselves are a bunch of pepper plants. So I've got, that's a super hot right there. That's a jalapeno. Here's a Thai chili. I love these Thai chili plants because I don't know if we can get a good focus, but you can just see dozens and dozens and dozens of chili peppers in there, and they'll start ripening up. This one here is a Carolina Reaper, and it does have at least one flower that has started to fruit. I'm not super confident because we don't have the climate for it, but we'll see what happens. It seems to be healthy. So this right here is the Tibetan Lhasa, and I got this pepper seed from Connie Hamlin on the Facebook Gardener group when I went to see her little presentation that she does out at the Falcon Library, and got these seeds, and these things are just prolific. Tons and tons of peppers on there. They're pretty hot, they're pretty good. This one right here is Anaheim. These are a couple sweet peppers that I have. My lettuce did fine this year. Didn't eat a lot of it. I'm just this is my first year doing lettuce, so I'm just letting it grow just to see what happens. I think it's starting to bolt. And then I've got carrots back there, and then tomatoes. Lots of different kinds of tomatoes in the garden this year. There's some kelp and fish. Nasty stuff. All the tomatoes. In the back there's some beans. These bean plants didn't do very well, but I actually just noticed for the first time today that they are growing beans in these tiny little bean plants. Some more peppers. There's my peas. I didn't pick the peas this year. It was too late. Now they're all woody and kind of gross. But more peppers down here. Jalapenos, sugar rush peach, more jalapenos. This one's a ghost pepper plant. Right there. This pumpkin here, all of this, and then all that goes way over there. This is all one pumpkin plant. I've actually pruned it once already. It was supposed to be zucchini in that area, but same thing happened with the cucumbers over there. Used the compost. Pumpkin, the seeds must have just been incredibly ready to go because they just kind of took over everything. Here are some zucchinis. These 3 plants, they're 3 different types of zucchinis. Spineless Beauty, Black Beauty, and I think there's another one, I forget what it is. But I just planted these seeds a week and a half ago, I guess, just because I wanted to see if I could get zucchini from seed and have it actually fruit and harvest, if I planted mid-July. So those are going. There's some sweet peppers right there, and that little row right back there behind the pumpkin and these sweet peppers is some potatoes. It's just I found an extra bag of potatoes just sitting in the cupboard, and so I just decided to dig a trench and put them in, and they're growing, but we'll see what happens. All these are beans, all bush beans here. I've got 7 more tomato plants because I did take one out of the ground because it was looking really bad. Some of them don't look that great. And then back here is where I had my strawberry patch. Put a lot of time and effort into it. Hundreds of pounds of llama poop. But it didn't take off at all. They all died. I probably tried to care for them too much. This is the only little strawberry plant that is still sort of surviving. It looks like crap, so more tomatoes. This whole thing back here is potatoes. Seem to be doing pretty well. Tried to plant a second planting of carrots right here, but they didn't take off. But back here on the right, I got all these onions. I've got a rosemary right there, and then I've got a little tiny sage, and then I've got some parsley, it's some sort of dwarf parsley. Trees, I grew trees this year, so this is an apple tree, dwarf apple, yellow delicious, so hopefully it does well. This is what I thought was another apple tree, but it's a plum, and it's doing very well. And this little guy here, he was not doing well at all. And just finally, in the last couple days, I can see some new growth. So hopefully it survives the winter. Not super confident, but see what happens. This is a peach tree here, another peach tree right over here, and then my little apricot tree over here, this little guy, and all of the goat's head weed that I hate, that I can't get rid of. Haven't really tried that hard yet, but back here I've got my flowers, my pollinator garden. I've got catmint like crazy. There's these 4 giant ones. There's one over there, and then these 3 giant ones, and then there's this little baby one. We thought they were all the same, but they're not. 3 big Russian sages. This is year 2 for them, and they're doing pretty well. And then I've got a couple of other, I think penstemon and some sort of salvia right here. And then there's one hiding back there. So my little yarrow, I thought the yarrow was going to go crazy, but that's all that has grown back this year. It's tiny. So we'll see what happens there. But it's the garden. This is my, we're not even done yet. I can go back up here and check out the back row. Okay, Back up here, past all these, and then these barrels here, all down there, more hot peppers. Just all kinds of different ones. Strawberry patch where it used to be. And then right here, this one and that one right there, they're called hummingbird carpet. And I'm hoping that they go crazy. This is year one. I've had them for a few weeks and they're doing very, very well. But apparently they're really, really good for hummingbirds. As you can see, they have very bright flowers. So I'm hoping that happens this year. I really want to have hummingbirds in my yard. Got a couple of agastache. There's this one and there's one kind of hiding behind there for pollinators. And then my grapes that I started this year. These were all from grapes that I bought from, grapevines that I bought from Walmart for $2.50 each. They were on some sort of clearance for like 90% off. Something like that. I forget what it was, but I planted 5. My trellising is obviously not good. I'm gonna make some better trellises next year, depending on what actually survives. Because I tried grapevines last year and it didn't do very well, so we'll see what happens. And then down here, underneath this little arch, are 3 little blueberry plants. There's one there, and then those 2. They're all 3 different types. They're not growing very much, but I dug out very large holes and filled it completely with peat moss because they need very, very acidic soil to grow and to thrive. They're not thriving, but they're not dying. So this is also my second year trying blueberries. For whatever reason, I can't grow fruit. So, and then this is the unfinished part of the yard over here, or of the garden. Here's my little clematis that seemed to be doing very well and then just has not. This is year 2 for it, so it came back over the winter, but it's not doing great. So this right here is going to be a cool little 3-tiered garden. I think we're going to do a butterfly garden of some sort. Obviously too late this year, but next year it's going to be that. I've got my little chicken coop back there behind that frame, that mattress or a box spring frame. I got the box spring frame because I thought it'd make a good trellis or something, and it was free. And there's a little chicken coop back there. Don't know what I'm going to do about the chickens. Really want to get chickens, but probably next year. Built that little structure to keep some things dry. Got my motorcycle back there. There's my tiller. Didn't even start it this year. Haven't needed it because I bought a little electric one. And because I have learned that you don't need to till your garden. Whole ton of flagstone. Don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. And then this whole area, I spread out some pretty hot horse manure, and then just wood chipped it. And so I'm thinking that next year it'll be in a really good place to plant. I think that back here I might do, on this side of this makeshift fence, I might do some more fruit trees. I don't want to block my gate, so we'll see what happens there. But I thought this was interesting down here. Speaking of these volunteer pumpkins, I just noticed this yesterday, or a couple days ago. It's just this pumpkin plant that I don't even know what's down there because you can't see, but it started growing, and so I started watering it and I fertilized it, and we'll see if we get even more pumpkins out of it. Pumpkins, apparently, for me, easy to grow. Grow like weeds. Strawberries, everybody says they grow like weeds, but I haven't been able to grow a dang strawberry. I've probably eaten like 1 strawberry in the last 2 years. It's my compost. Myself and my neighbor contribute to the compost. There's another little volunteer pumpkin plant that I just decided not to pull up right outside the compost. But we'll see what happens with that. I'm pretty sure it's a pumpkin. I assume that because everything is in my garden. So, anyways, that was a long tour. Hope I wasn't too boring. Doing this a lot for myself as far as this video goes, because I'd like to be able to look back and see everything here. But that's the garden this year so far. Bye-bye.